What a difference a year makes.
The waterfall is not going to be a main focal. It's not going to be viewable from the house. It started out with wanting it to be functional, to create some water, some running water, to invite spawning walleye right into this area.
Right after we completed shaping the pond and getting all of the structure in place, we got a 4-inch rainfall on just bare clay that really eroded out a lot of it. But here is our creek channel that we were planning to build. And so this is what it looked like right after we dug the pond. And we were planning to build a pretty simple waterfall. But then plans changed. We hauled in, I'm not sure how many tons of rock, but this was just the first load. We had gotten a number of bids from different contractors in the area. And I must say that Greg Gill at Eastern Iowa Landscape was the most professional, responded the fastest, with a lot of great ideas that we hadn't even thought of yet. And so we got started. With the intake bay here, where the pumps are going to be situated right on the pond's edge, this is where all the water is going to be sucked into and pumped up to the top of the waterfall. And getting this set in place is important. Here I'm moving over to start shaping the different ledges, different levels of the waterfall.
In this little crevice, you're about 1 inch high. Everywhere else, you're still kind of off away.
The amount of detail, down to the fraction of an inch here with the excavator, it became clear really quickly that this was going to be a job that we were glad that we hired some professional help on. To think initially that we were going to lay these big stones in here, it was kind of silly. The amount of detail setting all of these boulders in, we didn't have the equipment nor the know-how. I could work alongside somebody like this, but not leading a project like this, and so sometimes it's just good to call in the professionals. The elevation grade on our project has been a continual pain in the butt. Every part of the project has required us to navigate the steep side hills, and this project was no different. It's just an extra added challenge. It's easy when you're working on a nice flat surface, but one thing going for us in this project was that the elevation was good. That's going to help flow the water downhill, but working in these areas, getting to where we need to be with all of the heavy equipment has proven to be quite the challenge. This is tedious work. Every stone requires positioning the strap on it, lifting it up with the excavator, lowering it in, getting it just right.
You like it?
And when they didn't like it, they pulled it out, they found a new stone, and did it all over again.
It's a light tap.
At each level of the waterfall, they set the center stone first, and that was going to be the focal point that they would build all the rest of the boulders around, because that center stone is typically a flat rock that the water would pour off of and cascade down onto. And just getting all of those set in place first, with a lot of the rock work to stabilize it at just the right angle. You can see they got their level out there. We're not framing a house here, but the level of precision was quite impressive. We were going to stop with the waterfall right about where the boulders are right now. But after some consulting, and after you're this far into a project and looking from the deck out at the house, we thought, why wouldn't we go up the side hill to make it more visible from the house? And so from here, we ended up taking a 90-degree up the hill, another 40 feet or so, with another section of the waterfall, which, you know, in the end is going to make the project longer, make it more expensive, but everything about this project has become longer and more expensive. And so while the waterfall wasn't originally going to be the focal point of the property, the added property value of an extra section of the waterfall that's more visible from the backyard and from the house itself just made sense in the overall grand scheme of things.
I'm just admiring the way that frame boulder on the left fits so perfectly against the flat rock where the water's going to spill.
This is truly like a work of art and watching an artist at work. When we got the bid for this job, Greg sent us not only the bid, but then a 250-page book that showed all sorts of different Aquascapes projects that have been completed over the years, just to look through and kind of get our ideas of what we were looking for. But after sharing our high-level ideas, we just let them run with it. They had a better eye for this, and the amount of detail and precision that's required here, tilting and positioning every stone, and the meticulous nature of this work, and the number of days that it required. I bet probably at least 7 days of heavy lifting on this project here, with 3 guys going at it most of the day. And this was in the middle of the summer, in some of the hottest days of the year, over 100 degrees, so I gotta hand it to them. Great job, guys. So once they're reaching the top here, they're gonna dig a hole and build a reservoir inside of another set of aqua blocks, and then pile boulders around it so it looks natural, where the water will just spill up out of the rocks. And here you see the channel dug, which is going to contain 4-inch PVC pipe that will connect the intake bay all the way up to the head of the waterfall. And now fast forwarding a couple months later in the project, here we're just doing some landscaping and some erosion control, dumping a lot of 3 to 7-inch rocks over top of some landscape fabric. And if you need some landscaping done, here's the opportunity to get Greg's information here on the side of his truck. He's done an awesome job, been super responsive through every part of this project. True professional, and as you'll see later, he's got some connections all around the country with his Aquascapes network, so don't be afraid to give Greg a call if you need some landscaping work. At this part of the project, we're getting close to the end, and we're also getting close to the end of the year where winter is about to set in. So here in early November, we're trying to get as many of the things buttoned up and sealed up before the snow flies. Here you can see the patio that the team put in here. It's going to be an awesome sitting location. One of the best things about it is that this is like the only level space in the backyard. The stone steps making the pond more accessible. And here's some more rock work being done. Just laying more structure in the shallow intake bay area here, and also lining the shoreline with big heavy boulders to just be aesthetically pleasing, but also to hold that edge on that steep slope from keeping more clay eroding into this area. I don't think it's possible to add too many rocks to this pond, because in the beginning we wanted to build a northern pond, and northern lakes, they're defined by their rocky shorelines and irregular rocky breaks, and I think that we're accomplishing that here in our backyard.
So as we've been fighting our pond leak, Greg Gill at Eastern Iowa Landscapes and his crew has been building this landscape for us. This is the head of the waterfall, Aquascapes waterfall, with our aqua blocks and the reservoir actually right underneath these rocks. And the water's just going to bubble up. It's going to be fed from the intake bay that's right down there to the left of the dock. And so all that water is going to be pumped up here and then flowing down the meandering waterfall down to our walleye spawning area when the water gets up that high. So now we've just been working on creating some erosion control. And you see the patio pavers, the steps coming down to the patio, be a great sitting area, and then steps on down to the dock. Really liking the way it's come together. Haven't been on site for a lot of it while it's been going on, but Greg's been doing an awesome job, and we're excited to get this thing fired up. Greg got the opportunity with the Aquascapes crew to head down to Alabama and work on Bama Bass's new Aquascapes waterfall. And in fact, in a couple of weeks, he's gonna head back down there to finish that up. So if you're looking for a waterfall, any kind of landscape work, and you're in the eastern Iowa area, look up Eastern Iowa Landscapes. Greg's got great connections around the country, got a lot of experience, and kind of cool that he got to partake in the Bama Bass waterfall. So if you haven't seen that, go subscribe to Bama Bass's channel. If you're into ponds, I don't know how you couldn't not already be following that channel. Cool stuff going on down there. Anyway, I got the Tremie pipe that didn't actually work the way I thought it would. High level update of the pond leak. In July, we were losing 4 inches of water per day out of the pond. It's crazy. And then after our first seek leak application over the entire pond, that cut it almost in half to just over 2 inches a day. And now, after we found the pond leak right out there where that pipe is, we've just been focusing our efforts on that area with application after application of polymer and sand and gravel. We've thrown some straight bentonite down there, but just trying to hit it and slow it up a little by a little. And currently we're down to about 3/4 of an inch of loss per day, which is still significant, but I mean, way better. And so now, even while pumping with the well pump, we can add almost 1.5 inches a day if we're pumping 24 hours. So we feel like we're making some progress, gaining ground. Would love to see this thing sealed up for sure, but we're getting the water level up to the point where our goal is to have this thing fired up right here before the snow flies, so that we can see what it looks like and to show you all at home. I'll give you a little tour down the waterfall. I mean, watching them place all of these stones strategically with little reservoirs, and we've even got LED lights that once there's water pooled in here, it's gonna make a really cool effect with, you know, flat rocks. Water is gonna fall down in strategic locations. They got the liner down to contain all of the water to control the erosion. I like how they've inserted wood in different locations in the stream. And yeah, as it bends down the corner, it's going to be a raging river, all culminating with it pouring into the pond down in this flat area where the fish are going to congregate, especially in the springtime. We got some more rock work to do here. Anyway, so it's all going to spill in right here. I'll take you back up, give you a little closer look. You know, all of these boulders, I'm not sure how many tons. I mean, I think easily well over 100 tons of boulders to make all of this, and then the erosion control and the back wall behind the patio. I mean, each one of these boulders probably anywhere between 500 800 pounds. I mean, there's some big ones in here. Yeah, they just were working on the silica I think they ran out and needed to get some more paver. That silica stuff that goes right into the cracks. But yeah, hoping to get this all sealed up before winter. And the steps down to the dock, our intake bay, water level is approaching a level in which we'll be able to turn this thing on. But guys, thanks for following the channel. Fun stuff coming. It's a lot of work. We're getting there. And a lot of straw mats and the grass seed onto the side slopes, with the straw mats down, control the erosion, because erosion just destroys a lot of the work that you do. You got different size rocks. It's going to be a shallow, rocky, flat. And what'll be interesting is because the water's going to get sucked in those into the two pumps right there. It's actually going to create a current in over those rocks. Moving water always attracts fish. Be a fun little holding area. And over there we've rocked the boulder island. It's still, well, it's a peninsula right now, but it'll be an island again soon, hopefully. And the thought is that with all of that rock up on there, that won't silt in. And I think that wind and waves sweeping over those shallow rocks might also attract walleye spawning area right over there. So we'll see. That would be like more of a natural spawning spot. And then definitely the waterfall where it pours in. So that's it for now. Thanks guys. We'll check you next time.